You are listening to the We Hired a Sitter for This podcast.
We hired a sitter for this.
We have a roster of like 7 sitters.
I'm spending $3,000 on paints.
Do you go to therapy?
Never have, nah.
There was a small fire. I put it out.
Real talk, the stakes are too high with my baby.
Comedy, parenting, marriage, life.
We do it all.
I'm a dad and I'm busy.
I have an opinion. I don't know if it'll be right, but
I'm Patrick.
my name is Gastor.
We hired a sitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of We Hired a Sitter for This, the podcast, the show, the media conglomerate formerly known as Who Cares About Ross and Patrick. I'm Patrick from that show, and next to me is Gastor Almonte. How are you, man?
I'm chilling. I'm from this show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is We Hired a Sitter for This. We're two comedians. We talk about life and parenting and comedy and pop culture. Have we done pop culture? A little bit. Yeah,
Kinda. We did the Super Bowl, dancing, and Usher on stage, I think, a little bit.
Yeah,
No?
I was actually we didn't talk about Usher, but I did want to say I'm surprised how much we've talked about the Super Bowl. Because I'm making clips. They're not out yet. I'm making some clips, and I'm like, wow, we're really going for it on the Super Bowl.
Hey, man. Why not? Let's cover sports every episode, Patrick. Let's really lean into your comforts.
I'll do sports.
I dig it.
I think we got the Australian Open coming up. Are you into tennis?
I'm so into that all the time.
This is like this show is like tennis. We pass the ball back and forth. Sometimes it's a volley, sometimes it's a rally. I don't even know what those words mean.
Real talk. I know it ends in love sometimes, and that's what this is.
Yes, exactly.
It ends in love.
I think it starts in love. It
starts in love.
Love is zero. I wonder why that is.
That's weird. Love is even.
Yeah.
Both sides get love.
Yeah, and if you're a zero, you need love.
You need love.
So we're here to provide that to you, listener, watcher, viewer. Thanks for tuning in.
That's what we're here for, baby.
This is our first time recording at night, so this show could have a different mood.
It's different. You're right. I feel like I'm talking sexier. You know what I mean?
You are. And I get to hear you in my headphones. I'm like, you just take it away.
The baritone is back.
Feel free to monologize. I'm happy to see you. I'm proud to see you. I'm proud to say that we were both doing Don't Tell comedy shows Saturday night for sold out crowds. You were in Pittsburgh. I was in Lewis, Delaware, which I don't think is as big a town as Pittsburgh. But that was cool to see your journey out there. How was the show?
Honestly, like fantastic. I had a great time. I got to try like some local sandwich places. P Brothers. I forget what the P was.
Oh man, if Pittsburgh fans are watching right now, they're gonna be so upset. You don't know their favorite.
I'm sorry.
Their favorite sandwich spot, sandwiches and hoagies, or that's Philly, I think, or Baltimore that I just slipped into.
You're way too loud, and I'm over here trying to find your sandwich.
That's okay.
It was watch it not. Primanti Bros.
Primanti Brothers.
Yeah. Fantastic place. We went to the original location.
Wow.
They have like this the menu is like real like tongue-in-cheek, playful, threatening. It's real cool. Like it tells you all the different sandwiches, and then at the bottom it says every sandwich comes with coleslaw, tomatoes, and French fries. No and like you got no option. Like you can't take it or else.
Yeah, you can't get ketchup or mayo. Like no special additions.
When you can't take it off, it's just this shows up. And then like if you want to add stuff, you can. But like it was more like a threat. Like you taking this coleslaw. You know what I mean? It was real Pittsburgh energy. Every like 2 to 3 minutes, a new person would walk in, and someone who was there would be like, "Hey, I went to kindergarten with you."
Oh,
it was
funny.
Really like dope, like one of those kind of like Cheers spots.
Yeah,
like that was the whole vibe there. Like people would just like maybe like 20 comics came over to the table.
Wow.
Who were randomly in the town. They weren't at the show. They would just be like, "Hey, I just drove by from Baltimore to see what y'all would love to."
Wow.
Like that kind of night.
Just doing a quick swing by from Baltimore through Pittsburgh.
Insanity. He was like, I was doing a show around the corner in Baltimore. I was like, okay, this is Pittsburgh. He's like,
that's 7 hours away.
Yo, popped in. Real talk. I was like, all right, cool. Follow him on Instagram now.
Nice. I'm gonna lower this. I think I see the rim of your cup.
Oh, I moved the cup. We cool. Boom. Done deal. We over here.
Amazing. Yeah. Sorry, I distracted from your tale of Pittsburgh. Did you see the Steve Hofstetter complex?
I stayed there.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful location.
Yeah.
a little envious that we can't do something like that in New York.
I know.
Completely beautiful.
So set them up. What is this?
Yeah, so like Steve Hofstetter, he's a stand-up comic from Queens, I believe, too, right? He's like a New York dude.
I actually don't know where he started.
Yeah, like that's what's like. My understanding is that he's from New York. He was able to like come up with this idea and get funding. He's done a lot of other like cool fundraiser things for comics, actually.
Yeah.
But like this in particular, he created like a nonprofit where comics can apply and get fellowships.
Yeah.
Like you could literally dedicate a year to the art of stand-up.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like while I and many others view it as an art form, it's tough to get art funding for that art in particular. But he has like a dope concept where like comedians could stay in Pittsburgh, I believe, for like 9 months at a time, and every 3 months there's a different comic that comes in. So it's like 3 of them.
And he basically
rolling.
made like a dorm in an old church or something?
Yeah, so he converted this old church into a dorm where like the comics could kind of live there, rent free. They don't have to think about rent, utilities, or food. Could just focus on for like 9 months to a year on becoming better comics.
It's crazy.
And like it's a dope city for it because like besides the fact that they have a pretty solid scene, you're like within a 2-hour flight of pretty much all of the major comedy scenes on the East Coast to like the Midwest. A lot of them are within driving distance. You could get like a lot of reps while your costs are low. And like you mentioned, the church facility got converted to this space. It's like set up to do all things comedy. They got like 2 podcasting studios, a bunch of green screens, spaces for sketch shooting, and eventually the upstairs where the church used to be will be a full-on performance space as well. Like it's completely dope as a concept. Super jealous because like I've never seen more than 800 square feet of open space in New York in my life, and this dude converted a whole church to dedicate it to creating art. Really like mind-blowing and like dope that he's like created the space and made extra kudos because like the day after I left, the other comics that stayed behind told me that like Steve actually like came up to the church just to throw out the trash. Like he's doing the dirty work. I was like, oh, that's real. Like he's for real about this. You know what I mean?
He's the landlord and the porter.
Amen. Much respect, homie. Like, I don't know, homie. Like I've never met him, but like I'm impressed with what he built.
Yeah,
like, real talk.
I mean, Brett Druck won the fellowship one year, and he talks very highly of Steve. And I think Ronnie Fleming was doing it last year, but he's there now, right?
Ronnie's who plugged me into all of that, man.
Yeah.
Like. Much love to the homie. Besides the fact that like he like runs a good ship, really dope host. Really like gave me a little bit of the Pittsburgh culture. I'm super appreciative of it.
That's great. I love Ronnie so much.
Yeah, man.
And you went out there with Andrea and Lizzie?
Technically, no. I met them there. I didn't know that they were the people I was rocking with. That was like a super fun surprise. Like I showed up and like. Yo, like I had no idea the quality of comics from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a big city, so I wasn't uber concerned. But like we've been on the road, and like sometimes the local feature and opener, you know what I mean? And it's not their fault. You know, you get up once every 2 months because that's the only mics available. Right. You just can't get the reps. Yeah. So like I'm always like worried that like I'm gonna have to do some real lifting to like get this show on the road when I'm headlining. Nah, I saw that. I saw Andrea. I saw Lizzie was in the building. 2 dope comics from New York.
Hilarious.
I love them. They got a great podcast of their own, actually. I love their chemistry in general. Yeah. They both had awesome sets. Lizzie, in my opinion, stole the show from me. Like she demolished as the feature. I was so happy for her. It's one of the cool things about comedy. Like I told her this, but like one of my favorite things in comedy is when I see a show and I see a comedian perform a set and you can tell that this audience is like, thank you for speaking for me. Like I've never seen someone be my voice on stage and be funny. Yeah. And I felt that. Like they enjoyed my set, but there were women in that room, there were people in that room that like felt like Lizzie is my like conduit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, that's magic. And like when I've experienced similar, I feel like, oh, this is worth pursuing and doing as an audience member. When I've had art connect with me like that, it changes me and I keep that forever. And I saw that. I was like, yo, this is fire. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was super hyped. By the same token, afterward, I was super, I was kind of mad at this one dude because like this one young lady was super happy with the sets and she came up to us afterward and she was like showing love to Lizzie and to Andrea and her boyfriend was in the background, and he said what's up, but he was just kind of like letting her talk, and then like after like literally 30 seconds of them talking, he was like, "Oh my God, can you stop fangirling already? It's embarrassing."
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Yo, homie, let her have her moment, B."
Yeah.
Literally all of media is made for you and
Yes.
your worldview.
Yeah.
This lady found 2 artists that she connected with,
Yeah.
and you're her partner. Let her have that moment. Let her experience joy around you.
In a human moment, like face to face with these
Yeah.
people who maybe will pop up on her algorithm or whatever through Instagram, but like she can actually talk to them to their face. That guy just cock blocked his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, and not only that, he cock blocked himself.
Yeah.
Lizzie was doing the work for you.
Yeah.
She was gonna leave happier,
Yes.
and you were gonna get laid
Yeah.
for that. Lizzie deserved
Yeah.
to get laid instead of you. You know what I mean? And you ruined that for
Yeah.
her. You ruined that for you, my G.
I'm curious about the male energy of it all, though. Like, I do think I can remember when I knew I wanted to do comedy and going to comedy shows and being too scared to do it and take the leap myself, that I did feel some kind of threat or some kind of shame of like not being able to do this thing I wanted to do so badly. So I think that might be a guy thing. Like maybe it just comes out in weird ways or weird jealousy or whatever this guy was doing. Perhaps it's because he wishes he could just have a comfortable conversation or do comedy himself. Who knows what the motivation was, but
That's real.
that's a him problem.
Yeah,
you know?
that's honestly like a real thing. I'm gonna say, grow the fuck up. Alright, real talk. Like, be more mature.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, my G? This
Yeah.
your partner, your girlfriend was having a genuine moment of joy, and you couldn't take the fact that wasn't coming from you. Come on, my man. Real talk, B.
Yeah,
Go home,
that's-
think about that. Journal. You know what I mean?
Yes, he does need to. He needs to simultaneously man up and journal more.
Yes, both. All right, figure it out. All right.
I love
Be
journaling,
better.
by the way.
Journaling is dope.
I got a new technique for journaling. I'll share. I just heard this thing at a meeting the other day. This lady said you got to write down God's to-do list, meaning if there's something you're afraid of or something you want in your life or something that's hard for you, you stop trying to figure it out yourself and just literally write God's to-do list, and on that you could write, I need a better job, or I want to shoot a comedy special, or I want to try art for the first time, or I want to take a trip to Miami, or whatever. These like big things that make us scared or feel like afraid or like we can't handle it. If you write it down on God's to-do list and then just like worry about stuff you can control, like things will happen. I'm telling everybody who will listen about this, and I don't know if it makes any sense for somebody who's not an addict or in recovery, but it sounds like that guy needs to cozy up with a journal and just
Real talk, man.
put his feelings out there.
Come on.
Instead of suppressing other people's feelings, put your own feelings to the page.
That's it. Come on, B. Simple writing.
Well, that's great, man. It sounds like it was a great trip, and I love hearing you describe what it feels like in a live comedy room when an audience is connecting with the comic. Because something we were talking about in the car on my road trip was how
what'd you go with?
how important a point of view is.
Okay.
Like when a comic has a point of view that's clear, it's so much easier for people to connect to it. So this was interesting. I was in the car with David Piccolomini, Josh Tolentino, and Eagle Witt, who I've known Eagle since he was like 18.
Yeah.
Josh since he was 16. David I just started working with maybe 3 years ago. But it was so interesting because I'm on March 6th, it'll be 10 years of me doing it consistently. And I've known these kids since they were kids.
Yeah.
And they're both killers now. And it was so fun to just be in a car and like get updated with everybody. And, you know, I see them both around, but I don't work with them a lot. And, man, Eagle's, I mean, you know Eagle, he's just amazing. And
He was a monster.
he was so fun to watch, and I just felt this weird pride. I even told him, I was like, it's not my business to be proud of you, but I am just so proud to watch you work up there, because his premises and material have such sharp angles and such sharp point of view, like we talked about, that I was like, I'm not watching some kid with his backpack coming to the open mic. I'm watching a man who is like really confronting some deep like social issues in his act. And I was just like blown away. And so was the crowd. It was just so fun.
Yeah, now homie got all the moves. Real talk.
Yeah.
He knows everything He knows how to do it all, and he is comfortable breaking every rule and leveraging it to create like really beautiful, confrontational, and somehow loving moments all at once.
Yeah.
He's like legit brilliant. Not enough people talk about him.
Yeah.
He's always been funny, but I would say like, man, like he's elevated his game in a way that like I don't think enough people are fully appreciating yet.
Yeah.
He's getting props and still not enough.
Yeah.
Sincerely, homie's dope.
Yeah. And it's weird, like, so my situation was Ross was on a road trip. She took our kid to see her brother. So it was a family trip for them. And when I booked the gig, I just assumed I'll be driving because I have a car. I like to drive. That means I'm in charge of the schedule and what time we leave. I like to get places early, you know, all that kind of stuff. And once I realized I didn't have the car, it was now like I'm just going up to Queens to get in somebody else's car and then we'll all just get there. And I didn't know who was even on the gig until a few days before. And I have to admit, I was like, oh man, I'm a 43-year-old man. I'm going to be getting in a car with a bunch of 20-somethings. I really got to like let go and just go with the flow on this trip. And I'm so glad I did. It was just fun to be a worker amongst workers and just like going for the comedy hang, having good, deep conversations in the car. Because we were in the car for like 4 or 5 hours, you know?
Amen.
It's the best.
It's a fun part of the process, and it if at this point you're talking about being a decade in, if you are not appreciating this, you're not doing it right. Like we like I definitely understand if like early on in doing comedy there's like the whole and you're allowed to hold on to the feeling of I'm gonna be a star or like I'm gonna get rich. I've let go of that. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But I know I don't expect it to anymore.
Right.
And I'm not saying it might not. I'm saying that it's not the agenda. I'm on some samurai shit. I'm doing this because doing it is what keeps me centered. It keeps me whole, and I think it's important as a person to find a pursuit. Period. Yeah. Like I think human beings as a species get better when each of us pick a craft to perfect and share it with others. Yeah. Whatever that is. Be real talk. Yo, you body Subway sandwiches, body that shit, B.
When you say body, do you mean creating or eating?
Both. Yeah. Real talk. If you're a competitive eater, my boy Wayne Wonder. Real talk. I know you went to high school together. He be crushing the eating game. That.
Did he go to Nathan's?
He's actually not at Nathan's anymore because they got beef. Yeah, but he goes to the competing one with what is his name? Kobayashi. Yeah. He goes to his. He's always like top 5 in the hot dog joint.
I know quite a lot about this world because one of the True Lifes I produced back in the day was about competitive eaters.
Oh,
so I filmed probably a dozen eating contests.
Look at that. You might have met my boy Wayne.
Yeah, so this is a long time ago, but yes, I agree. Everything you're saying, the guy I was filming with, his name is Tim Eater X Janis. Yeah. He wears the face paint. He had such a zen approach and probably, did you say ninja? Ronin? What did you say? What was the martial artist thing you said?
Oh, samurai.
Yeah, you're a samurai. Yeah. He was he had the same thing. He had a philosophical approach to it. And it was like funny how we would talk about it, but it's so true. It's like the reward is the doing.
Yeah,
that's it. And you're so right. Like I probably broke even on the trip. I don't know. I definitely didn't make a whole lot of money doing those 2 nights of shows, but it was so fun.
And you became a slightly better comic for doing it.
Yeah.
And like let's say like for example in that group. If you're asking industry, realistically, they'll probably say Eagle is the one that, like, he has a possibility of being a star. Yeah. So, like...
No, he will, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that, sincerely. Yeah. I think he's, like, super talented. He's young. He's driven. He's been doing it for years. So, like, what if for Eagle to reach his peak, he needs all of us to be at our peak to force him to elevate his?
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? So, like, for the art to elevate... he needs to feel like his peers are at their peak. Yeah. So we're playing a role in the forward movement of this art form, whether directly or not. You know what I mean? And in turn, we're playing a role in the future of this art form becoming better and more respected. And in theory, the future of every art form being better, because they're going to be held to a standard that was raised by the greats whose standards was raised by their peers. I really believe that. Like, I don't know who it is from our group that's going to be the next dude of the, like, you know, Chappelle, Louise, George Carlins, you know what I mean, Richard Pryor's. I don't know who from our crew is going to be that, but someone will be, and they'll get there in part because all of us put enough pressure on them, directly or not, and not like in a negative way, just in us being as good as we could to force them to be as good as they could be to elevate their game to reach those heights.
You're blowing my mind right now. I mean, that was a sermon.
Hell
that
yeah,
was a
yo.
sermon. I feel like it should be printed on a motivational poster. Add a chapter to the Bible. I don't know where that belongs, but it belongs somewhere.
Longest bumper stickers ever, baby.
yes.
Coming soon.
Just a bumper sticker with the tiniest font. I love that.
Just selling car wraps with my speeches, yo.
Just so many car accidents because people drive up closer to try to read it.
What did it say?
I do love that, because I think there is another side of that coin where it's like, yeah, if you want to get where you got to get, you have to not only use the pressure from other comedians and competition, but you have to step on them to suppress them so you can raise yourself up higher. And of course, I don't feel that way, but I think there is a world where that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful the way you said it. And I actually did feel that in this weekend. There were another person met us there, and there was 5 of us in total, and every two nights of shows, and I felt like we put on a damn good show beginning to end both nights, and it was a great chemical mix of comics. It never felt like anybody's stepping on each other's material or vibe or personality type or whatever. And like, yeah, if I'm a paying customer, I would have went home really happy.
Amen. Real talk,
because there usually is a weak spot in a show, whatever kind of show it is.
Real talk. That's what's awkward about our show next. There's only 2 of us.
Yeah,
so like one of us, it's gonna be you and me. I don't know.
We got to talk about that. So for this Friday night, Hyde Park, New York. I was just looking up the information on the show. If you want to go to our show Friday night, you got to pay $68.
Yo,
people.
We big money, baby.
It's a fundraiser show, and they're doing $68 a ticket. You do get dinner.
Yeah, it's a good cause.
And it's billed as 6 p.m. dinner and show. I'm hoping that means show is at 7.
I would think
7:30. I hope we're not doing comedy at 6 p.m. I feel like people need a cocktail or two in them before they're ready to laugh. But yeah, it's just the 2 of us. She did say there's 2 mics that will be there. Do we do a half an hour each, and then whoever goes second invite the first one up, and do we see what it feels like on stage together?
I'm game for that. I would do 25 and the final 10 together,
and like a Q&A or something.
Yeah, I'm game for that.
And I'll bring the camera. We can shoot it. Maybe some kind of magic happens.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe something terrible happens, and we document that too, baby. You know,
I am going through all my bits right now. I'm trying to find the cleanest ones. You don't have to worry about that.
I got to look a little bit, make sure I'm good. You know, a lot of people outside of New York City don't get my references to like rats and basements.
Yeah,
you know,
but I don't know. I think you are such an ambassador for what New York City and what East New York is. I think it's important. Like, people really appreciate hearing where you're from and what it's like to be where you're from. I think that works for you.
I appreciate it. I think it does too usually, but there's definitely like bits that like I know incredibly work in New York.
Yeah,
that like are borderline confusing,
right?
Like a couple states away. So you know,
yeah. I gotta think about. I gotta sit down and really plan it out. I hope Heidi isn't listening to this. Like, wait, he doesn't have this planned out yet.
She knows. She works with comedians. She knows the deal. Real talk. We're professionals. We are good at what we do. But like planners, nah. It's like, come on.
I'm a show up and figure it out like a few minutes beforehand kind of guy.
Amen.
Which with the college show I do, the first year I was doing it, it's like a presentation, and it's funny. It's about like alcoholism and drugs and risky behaviors on a college campus, all that kind of stuff. And the first year I was doing them, I was booking a hotel I think the night before the gig so that I could bring my PowerPoint and plug it in and rehearse in the room and like pace back and forth. And I realized that was actually making me feel crazier and more anxiety. And now I've learned I just have to budget the day before to do that prep at home or wherever, and it'll work itself out. Like by the time the show, like the more I'm like in the town, like kind of metaphorically pacing back and forth in my mind, the more I'm just like wound up tight. But that was, thankfully 5 years ago now. And so with a gig like this, it'll take, I guess I'm probably building up the amount of planning I need to do. And it's really just a matter of making a quick list of bits that'll be fun to do for that environment.
Yeah. Like I always remind myself a few things. One, I am not famous. So like, I have a ton of bits that I know work because they've been on TV, and there's this idea that like that material was burnt. Who are you? The ego to think that like these specific 100 people saw your random YouTube clip from 8 years ago. So right off the bat, if this worked and it got on TV, I do all the hits. Yeah, I got 30 minutes. I'm gonna give you 20, 25 of stuff that works, and if there happens to be 5 people in the audience that saw it before, hey, thank you for being a fan. I'm gonna give you 5, 10 new ones. Yeah. But like this is something I'm doing the goal to raise funds for this library situation over there, right? So like I'm not the goal isn't for me to work material right now. This is to put on a good show, and I know this works. Right. So it alleviates a lot of the pressure because I did that work already. I know it works. Yeah. And it allows me to just focus and stay in the room. Let's have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Yeah. Who's driving?
I'm cool with you driving. I want to see this kid situation. You know what I mean?
You're gonna get a taste of it tonight. I'm gonna drive you home after this, and if you survive the ride and you're okay with it, then I'll pick you up Friday.
I appreciate you. If it goes terrible, I might change my mind. Yeah. But I doubt it. I think we're good. I think we won't work out.
And do we try to shoot a podcast on the drive?
Ooh.
If I put a GoPro up on the dash. Do you have a lavalier mic?
I do. I would love to do that. I got the 32-bit one, so they won't even like distort while we walk and talk. Yeah, we drive and talk. All
right. Yeah, let's plan for that. I think we might as well. I mean, we're in the business of making this show for you people. I mean, we're running out of time, so we're recording at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday because you're the busiest man in show business.
No days off, baby.
You were on set today?
You don't get to the middle unless you work hard, okay?
That's great. I'm horrified to think of you calling your career the middle because I'm like, I'm at the top of the bottom, I guess, or the bottom of the middle.
Oh man, I thought I was the bottom of the middle. I'm barely in the middle.
All right, then I'm still circling around on the bottom.
We trying,
which
though,
is
baby.
Fine.
Yeah, who cares?
Who gives a shit? It's all gonna happen. I'm putting it on God's to-do list.
That's it.
He or they or she can deal with that. I'm just here to make a podcast.
As long as my kids eat, I'm good. Real talk. Other than that, I'm chilling. Let me sing the jokes. Pay me what you can.
How are the kids? What's happening in the family life of the Almontes?
They have the week off this week.
Oh, winter break?
Yeah. That nonsense. Like, my daughter, I don't think has been in school this month at this point. Like, I don't even know what the point is. Like,
President's Day.
Yo, she had like 4 like president
that
holiday
snow day last
the
week.
Snow thing. The
really
week
messed
off.
Me up.
There was what am I? Regents Week.
Oh yeah.
So she's a freshman, had no Regents classes, so she only had one final to come in for. This was another week. She I think had 4 days of school this month. Yeah, it's been nonsense. Like she's constantly just in the crib. Yeah, eating all the waffles. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I see her, and I can't say nothing to her. I'm like, that you I know you're doing what you're being asked for, but this is like barely counting as a school month.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get those kids in school 6 days a week.
I'm with it.
Can we do that?
Yeah, straight up, 9 to 5.
It is crazy how much I rely on the school schedule to like make my life work. Because a week ago today, that snow day came out of nowhere. I really thought that was a government conspiracy of some kind because they canceled school the day before. In the middle of the day on Monday, they're like, no school tomorrow, and our daycare is connected with the public school system. And I'm like, how are they can't? Used to be you had to wake up, listen to the radio to see if school got canceled. Did they even have that in the city?
I am 100% convinced at this point. that Eric Adams has an affair with somebody at the school board office. And he was like, yo, like,
today's a good day for me. Is it good for you?
You good? You got to shut down the office building. Real talk. Fake school, winter storm thing, whatever. Let's meet up at the offices. Nobody will be there.
He's like, the roads are slippery, and so are you gonna be.
Amen, baby. Everybody wet.
It's gonna be a mess, and I'm gonna have to clean it up.
Real talk. I'm gonna eat fake vegan sandwiches after with you. Real talk. We'll do a press release.
I'm gonna snow plow you. Just watch out where you put that salt. I don't think Eric Adams is a good man.
I think he's a good dresser.
He really wants to be a celeb.
Yeah, real talk.
Like, he wants to be at the 40/40 Club. Is that even still open?
I think the one at Barclays is.
He wants to go to Marquee. He wants to hang out with rappers and basketball players, and he wants parents to be full on educators in their home with remote learning.
I would hang out with him. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, he seems to always know where the party is.
We want to be celebs.
Real talk. If he's with me, I'm getting pressed.
I want bottle service with Eric Adams. I don't think he's a good man, but I want to drive around in a convertible in Manhattan after midnight. I would like to go with him to what are the famous strip clubs now? Scores? That's not open anymore.
I never did the strip club thing, so I never kept up with it.
You've never set foot in one, or you never got into going?
I've been in them, but I never
enjoyed it.
Yeah, like, it just wasn't my vibe like that.
They're not great.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It seemed like I know I took my godson when he turned 18. Me and my boy took our godsons to their first strip club experience.
That's adorable.
It was cool. We paid for them to have a ton of lap dances.
Yeah.
And we tried to watch the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's
we
hilarious.
were the only people there just waving off strippers. Like, yo, do you see what Dwayne Wade is doing? No, I don't want to dance.
Could you get your basketballs out of my way? I'm trying to watch basketball.
He's going off, okay? I don't need you going off too, okay?
That's hilarious. Dwayne Wade, Orlando?
Miami.
Oh, right.
Real talk. Sports Cop Pod, baby. He's ready.
Yeah.
You got the state right. We good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, all right. So kids are around too much because not enough school in February. Zilla?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's one of Brooklyn's finest right there.
Yeah. So Zilla's a comic and also an educator, and she just posted something about how there's only 71 days left of school till summer.
Really?
Is that possible? I guess if it's 5-day weeks and then a couple weeks for spring break and Easter and whatever, I guess that's possible, but that seems like there's not enough days that kids are going to school.
Yeah, that seems strikingly off.
That's
I trust her, but there's
2
4
months. Yeah.
That would be under 20 days a month of school.
Well, 4 weeks a month, and if it's 5 days a week, that's 20 days a month.
Yeah.
So with a couple weeks subtracted for whatever breaks,
wow,
that's not enough, right? Like, if we want to be competitive as a nation, we got to get these kids in school every day.
Come on, B. Real talk.
I mean, you're working every day, you said, so.
Yo, how we gonna get to space first, Bonji? Okay?
No. Yeah,
we need this.
Have we been to space yet? That's the question.
I feel like, real talk, I know my kids might not like this. I think school should be I would do 10 to 6. I want all my kids to sleep every day. I want them to sleep in. Yeah. I think that kids are forced to wake up way too early in this country.
Yeah, this 7 a.m. nonsense.
Yes, that is brutal. It's not fair.
Yeah.
I think it should be 10 to 6, but no homework. So, you have a slightly longer school day, but if you didn't get it done, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
As a parent, I have so little time with my kids. When they're home, they need to be mine, family time.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little bit longer as a day. I'll let you start later because I want my kid to be healthy and sleep enough to continue to grow healthily. But when that shift is done, shut it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait, so is a lot of your time after, at night, homework? Like, they're doing homework and you're helping them, or they're doing homework and you just don't get to see them because they're
I would say over the last 2 years, I don't help anymore. They're their homework has gotten to that place where I can't help. I don't remember this stuff.
Yeah.
And my daughter in particular is in art stuff. So I can't draw that stuff. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But it's time consuming. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's I get it. I know that a big part of learning is repetition. As a stand up, nobody believes that more. I get it. You know what I mean? But man, it sucks that my kid comes home at 3:30. Then they gotta from 3:30 to 6:30. I can't talk to them because I'm preaching responsibility. They got to do this thing. None of the teachers coordinate with each other. So like there'll be a random day, 2 days a week where all of y'all gave an hour of homework. You know what I mean? So like my son will have like 1 day a week where it's like an 8:30 day. You know what I mean? And that dude gotta eat dinner, shower, do his chores. So like Monday through Friday, I'm not able to do family time. I think that's grimy.
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm not saying you're doing something purposefully wrong, but the system don't work.
I think this is good to talk out loud because this is all good fodder to talk with Eric Adams about when we're out hanging out with him.
Hell yeah, yo.
When we're courtside.
Between bottle service, yo.
Yeah, courtside at the Nets game, we could say, hey, look, we were thinking maybe we extend the school day, do more study hall during school.
Yeah.
So we can have fun with our kids.
Real talk, man. That's all we trying to do. Yo, pass that ace of spade, my G. But yeah.
How were you with homework in high school? Like, did you self-manage your own homework time?
Yeah, for sure. I junior high school, I went to this like elite like program thing, like, and that was probably the hardest.
Which was it a school name?
It was this program was called Robert F. Kennedy Incentive Program. It was it was there for like 50 years. It was sponsored by like the school that ended up becoming my high school. But it was super small. Like my class was 18 kids, and when I graduated, and I was the biggest of the 3 grades. But I would say that was by far the most challenging years educationally for me.
And this was middle school years?
Middle school.
Yeah.
Like I knew for a fact that 1st through 5th grade, I was in 2 different schools. I never remember trying. I never remember putting effort. And I didn't realize until I got into the school that I consistently was in the top 2 of my class.
Right.
And then at this school, they made me aware of that. Because they're like, hey, you got in, this is why, these are your grades. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had these grades. I just knew mom and dad didn't complain.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they told me, hey, this is why all of you are here. And now I was in a space where everyone was that kid or more.
Right.
So like of the 18 kids, we have like 9 lawyers who graduated from Ivy League schools.
Wow.
Like insane nonsense. Wow. Yeah. Like I own 2 properties. I've been on TV 9 times. I am by far the least successful kid from my class. Like, it's not even close.
You're the funniest, though.
Yeah, I'll take that. Maybe. You know what I mean? Jamel's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like my point being though is that like hyper competitive and hyper intelligent kids, and they gave us a ton of work. So like by comparison, every other school felt easier. But yeah, like it molded me. It like taught me a lot, and like I appreciated that time. So like when I got to high school, I went to like a relatively like, well-known school, St. Francis Prep in Queens. Is pretty competitive. Failing there is a 75 average. I thought that was always like an interesting thing. You get below a 75. Yep. You get below 75, you failed the class.
Wow.
You failed 3 classes in any given year. You can't come back, period.
Yeah.
You fail 2, you can take summer school for them. If you take 2 classes in any 2 years, you're also kicked out of the school. Like 2 classes in the summer. Yeah. So you can't like keep going to summer school to keep up. So like they take like 800 kids freshman year. Sophomore year is always like 500 left.
So you took school seriously on your own, or did somebody like, tell you like you gotta?
Well, like it was the standard because like my mom had a full-time job working for the city. She was a social worker, and I watched her go to college in front of me. Like I watched her not speak English when I was a kid, go to school, learn English, graduate with like a 3.8, get this job in the city and work full time, and then run the home.
Wow.
And I watched my dad literally like manage 2 buildings that he bought and rebuilt while working a full-time job, or whether it was like the bodega he owned or the laundromat that he built. So like I can't sit here and be like, yo, yeah, this test is stressing me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they had like real things that I felt that like, oh, I saw right away that there's real work that I'm not experiencing. I'm playing Mario Brothers, my G. Like my life is golden, you know what I mean? And I felt that my godparents lived upstairs. I saw real work from every adult in my life. So I was like, all right, the least I could do is just not be another problem.
Yeah.
When I got to high school, though, it was more like if I keep doing this, can I get some perks?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was pretty popular in junior high. I wanted to kind of really lean into that and kind of explore being myself in high school. So I made a deal with them before freshman year. I said, hey, if I'm on honor roll, I want you to never come to the school. Like, don't come to parent-teacher night. Don't come to nothing. And my dad's like, hey, great. There's one less thing to worry about. Never went to my school till, like, graduation day. Literally.
You're like, if I'm on the honor roll, don't even look at me.
Real talk.
Okay?
Like, yo, I'm on honor roll.
I want orange M&Ms in my bedroom every night, bedside. I would like a massage from a beautiful Taiwanese girl, weekly.
Straight up.
Just giving full-on negotiations. I love that.
Yeah, and then you get like you got a little bumper sticker at prep when you were an honor roll student. So I had to that was like my pass for the next quarter.
Yeah.
I would give him the bumper sticker and he was like, all right, cool. I don't got to go to the school. And you could, and like, it was how I had like a late curfew. Like, he's like, yeah, do what you got to do, homie.
Yeah. I think it was similar with me. Like so my brother is one of the smartest people I know, but he admits this, that he in high school was one of those people who knew he could test well, so he just never applied himself with academics. So he rarely did homework. It was like a running thing in our family. Like, he doesn't do the homework. When are you going to do the homework? So I watched that and I was like, I'm not going to be that. I just don't want to deal with people hounding me. So and I got yelled at very intensely in 7th grade by a math teacher about how I did the homework wrong or something. So, and it like really messed me up, like how much this guy was in my face screaming at me. I was like, I'm never hearing that again. So from like 6th, 7th grade on, I was just like obsessive about getting homework done early.
Word.
I would do it if I had a study hall, just do it before I even left school so I didn't have to do it that night. And yeah, tried to keep grades up high so I didn't get hounded by parents about stuff. And God, I really hope my kid is that same way.
Fingers crossed, brother. Both my kids are cool, but like my daughter will have a moment every now and then when I got to check. It's been like 3 years now where I haven't had to say anything. But like early on, like she'd do well for like a semester or two. Then she'd have like a shitty semester and I'd have to like really give her a talk. I was like, yo, this is your only job, my G.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a jolly dude. I laugh, I smile at all your shit. I'm not doing that right now. You know what I mean? This talk is going to get real gangster if I got to have it again next month with you. You know what I mean? And like, in general, since I'm so happy around the house and I have a very stern talk, like the effect is usually pretty fast, thankfully.
Yeah. I wonder how you inspire like the way your parents inspired you without giving an explicit pep talk. They were just inspiring by example, right? Like you were like, I got to have a higher standard because look at everything they're doing. You can't just tell kids you got to do the best you can, like, because you're in charge of your own life. It's up to you to have the kind of life you want. Like, you can't just say that. You have to show it somehow. Mm-hmm. And I worry that, like, when I was 30 and I decided I'm burnt out on this way of life I'm doing in production that will actually afford me a nice life, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to go for this stupid comedy thing that isn't really paying. Like, there are no fruits of my labor quite yet, financially at least. So I guess my fear is my kid's just going to be like, wait, you do what at night? And like, we're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, like, and you think I should work harder at school? Like, why didn't you work harder in school? Like, how are we here? You know what I mean? And I don't know. Hopefully we will raise her in the right amount of deprivation that makes her hungry for more for herself.
Oh yeah.
And she gets into STEM and becomes a doctor or a well-paid scientist for a pharmaceutical company.
I used this exact same thing, A, as motivation to work harder as a comic. And B, being frank, like I don't think it's wrong to own not being good at everything as a parent. I'm fully transparent with my kids all the time. Like, yo, you know what? Like I should have worked harder before you.
Yeah.
I feel like I did fine before that, but I definitely didn't do my peak, and I feel like I learned to work hard when you were born. And I've done my best, and I've done better than average, but I know that you deserve more, and I'm sorry that I didn't do the work before that to give you more. With that said, you can control how it goes from here, A. B, compare what you have to what your friends have and ask them what their parents do versus what we do. And you'll see that, again, while I started late, my work has led to you living a little bit more comfortable than some of your friends. Imagine what would have happened if I started at 10 instead of at 25.
Right.
You could do that. You could scale that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'll tease her with somebody like, yo, you want to be like your cousin Alex? You know what I mean? That do 74. You're going to be living with his mama. You know what I mean? Forever. That's not going to be you, is it? I don't want you here that long. I love you. You can stay, but I'm going to talk trash about you if you still live here at that age. Okay?
Yeah.
So I make sure that, but like sincerely, I even like joke a little bit, but like I'll make sure that they're aware of what success and comfort looks like.
Yeah.
And I tell them things that they like.
Yeah.
And I tell them what that costs. Like, yo, I tell Aiden, like Aiden in particular, my man, you eat steak.
Yeah.
Legitimately for like 14 or 15 meals out of the week. You know how expensive that is? Real talk. And you don't even think about it. You know why? Because daddy got you.
Yeah.
But real talk, that's not for everybody. I promise you. You haven't given me steak effort yet. Okay? Like, and if you want to eat steak when you leave this house, at least as often as you've gotten used to, it's going to require a different level of eating.
I'm going to need some Ruth's Chris effort
Real
around
talk,
here.
I
want to see some PJ Clark attempts.
Amen.
Okay?
Real talk. You're going to have a lot of PB&Js in your future, my G. You keep this up. Okay? And peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, fantastic when you want them for comfort. Terrible when you need them to survive, okay? It tastes different when it's out of desperation. You don't want that. Get a freaking A.
He wants steak experiences with fish stick energy.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. Good for him though. It sounds like he's a growing boy. He needs his red meat.
Yeah, and he's growing in all ways. He's talked to me a lot about learning. He started journaling and he's trying to learn how to apply discipline to new things. So he's like self-teaching, self-learning in terms of like coding.
Oh, nice.
He knows that there's like he finds it interesting as a hobby, and he knows that there's a future that can be brighter and have more options if he's able to add that skill.
Yeah.
And he's literally like, he found websites so that he can like do lessons every day during his free time.
Good.
But it was from like talks like that. They're like, yo, like you gotta design your future, my G.
Right.
And even this, like you talk about like the stand-up thing, you're right. It don't pay what a lot of other gigs pay, but it pays bills now. And I earned that. Yeah. And I tell them that too. Like, yo, you're right. I don't make what I made before, but I tell you what, I'm happy every day, my G.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that has that's a perk and that's a privilege that like I don't dismiss. But I had to earn that. Like every time you don't do your homework, know that I'm doing mine. Mm-hmm. I write jokes the whole day you in school. I'm recording a pod. I'm editing. Then at night when you sleeping, I'm out doing shows. Like I'm doing real work to earn the privilege to say that I sling jokes for a living. Yeah. So if you want to do some cool shit, and he has some weird dreams, he wants to like open an aquarium and like a fungi, like I don't know what you call that. I don't think that's a farm or
a terrarium.
Yeah,
fish tank.
He's like, he wants to design a app that like teaches people how to grow fungi optimally in different environments. Wow, weird shit, but cool. You into that? No doubt. I promise you can't get that with C's.
Are we sure he doesn't want to just have a hydroponic farm under your apartment building?
Get high, okay? Just learn how to do it properly. Let's make money. Okay?
Yes. Let's think about the return on investment.
Real talk, man.
Run the numbers.
I ain't mad at you. ROI, baby. I kick a tenant out for that. Real talk.
I want to know when both your kids sound amazing. I love hearing you talk about them. Are you relieved that you have two in case one goes astray?
I've thought of this a lot. I won't say I'm relieved I have two because of that, but I will say that I purposefully stopped at two because I realized they were both good. Yeah.
Like, you had keepers.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is good, and I can't keep running my luck like this. Like, like at some point I'm a hit X. You know what I mean? Like, I can't keep hitting black on this roulette table.
Because I think we have a good one too, but it's still a little too early to tell. Like there are moments where it's like, oh, this could she could go in the opposite direction at any time, and we don't have a backup plan.
I'm rooting for you, bro.
So I mean, we're so happy with the size and shape of our family, but there are times when I'm like, man, that I see why people have multiples.
Yeah, you got to, man. Somebody got to take care of you, and you got to increase your odds.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. We have talked about that, like our end of life care situation. It's going to be a lot on her shoulders. So we're all about creating community, and hopefully she'll have like a team of people who can help me when I need to have someone else wipe things and lift things and move things. Hopefully it's not just her by herself.
Hey, I know my dad thinks about this stuff a lot. He has me, my brother, and my sister, and he's pretty confident that he's going to leave everything to my son. He doesn't like any of his 3 kids. He thinks none of us are responsible enough to do it. Yeah. So he's training my son to do that.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? I'm cool with it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's peace. 2, I would say that I agree with that. I've thought a lot about the like end of life care. I don't want to be a burden to my kids. I'm pro doing sending me off to like one of them old people facilities. Yeah, I think that'd be dope. I didn't get the dorm. I didn't do college like that.
You could have a show. You could like do a Friday night gig, like
Real talk.
Like a 4 p.m. That would be the late night show.
Yeah.
You know, after 3 p.m. dinner.
That's when we get crazy. We spike the Kool-Aid. It get wild. Yo, we use real sugar at that time. Real talk. Diabetics going wild in that facility, yo. 4 o'clock, we passing out the insulin shots at 4:30.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Just roll your gurney up, get a front row seat, bring your bedpans, folks. This guy's gonna make you piss.
Oh yeah. I'm excited.
That's amazing. So you decided to stop at 2. I think, have we covered this? Did you get a vasectomy?
No, I did not. My wife can't have kids anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I was game for it. Now I think I'm game for it now. I admittedly wasn't game for it then. And it's I had no valid argument. But not thankfully, but thankfully she stepped up and B, like medically needed to, so it worked out where like I didn't have to have an argument. Yeah,
well, I got one, and I've been talking about it on stage. Well, first of all, can I talk about a vasectomy if it's a medical thing on stage on Friday for a clean comedy show?
I can't see why not. Why?
I mean,
what's
you're
wrong
talking
with
about genitals and sex.
I mean,
there's some there's very dirty parts of the bit, but I think there are some parts of the bit that aren't that dirty.
Yeah.
So I could do the fun, like family fun version of it, maybe.
I think there's ways of playing with that for sure.
Anyway, I've been talking about it on stage, and I have noticed the Latino community sometimes has issues with a man. What's the word? Sort of emasculating himself purposely and medically. Do you think anybody in your family or circle of friends would have an issue with you if you decided to do something like that?
I think they would, and it's all bad branding. I feel like they're selling it wrong to us.
The vasectomy itself.
Yeah, the vasectomy is like pitched as like you losing your manhood when it should be like you're free to be the most man ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, shoot all the shots.
You're enhancing your manhood.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah, I think some people do assume that just means you're literally cutting your balls off.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, they don't understand what it is, and like they don't know that it can be undone. You know what I mean? Like, it's the perfect situation.
I think some of them can be undone. The one I got, they were very clear. They were like, "This is an irreversible, irreversible procedure."
So yeah, then in that case, I don't blame my Latino brethren for judging you. That's wild work, Patrick. You know what I mean?
No,
we need more Holberts out there.
I mean, they came in with lasers and flamethrowers, several knives.
Real talk.
Yeah,
my man got a vasectomy at Home Depot, yo.
Yes. It's in the lumber aisle. Oh, that's hilarious. I've been saying, the joke I've been doing is that permanent and irreversible, well, I am at a deli counter in Brooklyn. That thing looks pretty sharp, but Home Depot is definitely funnier.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was curious what you would say about that.
I'm pro the idea, though. Real talk. I think more men should do it. More men should consider it. Low key, I almost think it should be the standard.
Yeah.
I feel like like when you go in high school, like when you about to play like football, and your high school makes you go in to do like the turn left and cough test.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody from that age should get punctured.
Like temporarily.
Temporary, yeah.
I see.
I think deciding to have kids, you should proactively undo it.
That's interesting.
I think that it would relieve a lot of stress. You know what I mean?
I think that would be a whole other procedure. It's not even a vasectomy. You're getting some kind of valve installed.
Yeah,
like where you can...
I don't know. We got rubber bands. Do what you do. You know what I mean? Tie that shit up.
Well, if you do it with a valve inside, like maybe it's magnetically activated, like, and you run a magnet over the outside and then it flips a switch inside.
Okay.
I think we could talk to Elon Musk or Eric Adams about this. And
I'm with it. I think
get some funding.
Yeah. It's an idea whose time has come.
Yes.
Unlike these guys, it should it should 100% come now.
Did you know, like, did you have a lot of classmates who were having children at that age?
More so friends. I had a few friends that had kids early on. Definitely a lot of friends who had kids in the early adulthood, like 18 to 22 range.
Yeah.
Like it just. I wouldn't say like it wrecks your life or anything, but I will say that it changes the course of it in a significant way.
Creates challenges,
and I think they would. I would say most of them would tell you having their kid is a blessing and that they would love it, don't regret it. But I think most of them would also say I should have done this later. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like you shouldn't be penalized for the risk, like the risk ain't worth the reward type thing. You know what I mean? Like the stakes is too high with having sex at that age versus what could happen. I don't think it's fair to you, the kid. Like it's wild. Yeah. So yeah, I think once you're 13, bang bang, like you know, like flick on the nuts, whatever you got to do to like. I don't know what the technical terms.
I think a perfectly placed and well timed flick could deactivate the testicles for 15 to 20 years.
Real talk, low like flick of the nuts, no babies for a few years. Come in every year to get it flicked again, if anything.
I mean, sex ed could use an overhaul also. I mean, we'll talk to Eric about this at the game, but like I don't know that we really absorbed like. I don't know. I guess I did because I just always knew I didn't want to have a kid, so I was pretty careful. But yeah, like I don't know, condoms. There's methods. There's things to do. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do without having sex. I don't know. That we'll do another episode on this topic at some point.
That's not our target demo anyway. There's not a lot of 13-year-olds listening to us to learn how to have sex joyfully right now, Patrick. I'm not worried about that. You know, we don't need to cover that fully.
Well, real quick, since we're here, I don't mean to make this such a penis-heavy episode. I mean, any episode of ours is penis heavy. But
Ross, come back, yo. You got to balance the magic, yo.
We were surfing Reddit, and the topic of circumcision came up. People talk about, you know, in 2024, are we still circumcising the boys? And that was something Ross and I talked about when she was pregnant. What if we have a boy? What does that mean? There's a whole I don't know if you're aware of this movement. There's like a men's rights movement where people feel like they were involuntarily circumcised when they were infants, and they want to reclaim the flesh and all this stuff. And we were talking about it, and we kind of looked into it, and it does seem like circumcision is an unnecessary procedure that the hospital medical industrial complex just kind of foists upon people to like add another line on the invoice.
Interesting.
I personally was circumcised. No pressure on you to share if you were or were not.
I'm out here, baby.
Yeah.
Full turtleneck, baby. Gang, gang.
So
old school, original,
uncircumcised. So tell me about this.
I'm the OG.
Tell me about
pure.
this. Did Leo say?
Untouched.
Was Leo like anti? Like, was he like, nobody's bringing a knife near my boy's equipment?
I'm pretty confident. My dad has never seen my penis. I don't think he changed the diaper.
Yeah.
I don't think he was involved with that process too much.
Have you seen his? Do you know if he's circumcised?
I'm sure I saw it, but like I don't remember. Like it wasn't like I wasn't taking notes.
Yeah, you didn't get a picture.
Yeah, I was like, nah. Yeah, I would say Also, I didn't know I wasn't circumcised until I was 15.
Like locker room.
No, I just thought that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so many people who had it done that I thought, oh, that's what it looks like, and just my dude was shitty with it.
Wait, you guys don't all have a sheath that just covers the whole thing?
I thought that's how all penises looked.
You don't have your hoodie?
You know what I mean? Straight up. Only reason I found out is because my mom was talking about it with her sister at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And
well, that's good Thanksgiving talk.
Of course. They were talking as parents.
Past the sweet potatoes, also, Gastor's penis has never been cut.
Never been cut, baby. She was having a baby, and they were asking opinions on what to do, and she's like, I ain't do it, I ain't do it at Gastor. And I was like, you sure? Because I thought I had. She's like, you def don't have it. And I was like, what? And I went and checked. I was like, all right, I guess this is what not having it looks like. And I had to reprogram that whole thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And did she say in that do you recall in that conversation why she decided not to?
I just think it was a fear thing. She's like, I didn't want anyone putting a knife to his penis. I thought that was why I work. And, I appreciate the concern, I guess. You know what I mean? Thank you. You know what I mean?
I wish I still had all my stuff down there. I think as a guy, it's like a basic thing of I would prefer to have as much material down there as possible.
I mean, keep watering it, Yeah,
you gotta. I assume maintenance is a little. Yeah. Oh, you're saying water it? So, yeah, maybe it'll grow. Maybe there's a product out there.
Real talk.
We'll work on that one also with Elon Musk.
Elon, we banking on you, baby. Twitter ain't working. You know what I mean? There's other stuff you can focus on.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I guess it's not appropriate to ask about what you decided to do with your children, but if you were to have another boy with this new, would you just do doctor's orders, or would you have a say in this?
I don't feel strongly either way, honestly. I would, this is one of those ones where I would let my wife make the decision for strategic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I would listen to what she has to say, and if she feels strongly on it, I would take the opposing stance and say, listen, I'm going to let you have this one, but I get the next one. Even though I don't care, but I want her to feel like I'm giving her one so that when I need one, I could get that one.
Whether it's child related or not.
Whatever it is.
You just need a favor of some kind.
You got to start bagging these favors in when you can. This is a strong enough.
You're giving up too many secrets on this podcast.
I'm helping the fellas. Every time my wife listens to this show, I'm losing. But I do it for the people.
It's true.
Okay? Real talk. I'm helping all of y'all at the expense of my love. Don't say I don't give y'all nothing. Okay? But that's the game, real talk. I thought about it. I was like, yo, you know what, shorty? I feel strongly this way, but
I think you're right.
I think because you're at home more with the kids, I want you to feel like you have ownership over this decision. I feel differently, but I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. But do me the favor. Next time we have a 50-50. Maybe that one goes my way.
Yeah, maybe we can work a little bit on that.
You know, but I'm gonna give you this one. And boom, now you got that favor in the bag. You know,
you just got to keep an inventory of these.
Oh, hell yeah.
You got to stay organized.
You got to add it to your Notion app.
You
know what I mean?
You got
put it on the calendar,
document.
Google Notes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Get a yearly reminder of it.
You date it in February 2024, and then talk. 10 years later, you're like, hey, remember that big decision?
I mean, real talk.
It's time for you to let me get my new chair.
Real talk. And because of that, I get to pick dinner tonight. We having Wendy's, okay?
Yeah.
Real talk. We're all getting Junior Bacons.
Well, this is amazing. Great wisdom, as always.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
Great CIA operative tricks to manipulate your way through a successful marriage.
Real talk. Studies show that listeners of We Hired a Sitter for This are less prone to get divorced. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're welcome. That's what we're here for.
Since we started doing this 6 weeks ago, I haven't gotten divorced.
Look at that.
It's amazing.
Proof is in the pudding, okay? You can't, that's just good math, okay?
All
2
right.
non-divorced people, 100% success rate. You're welcome.
Incredible.
That's what we do.
See you next time, everybody. Thanks so much.
Peace.